Showtime is here, and no time to fear. Carell is so near because Showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Carell is the one that you need to know. Now it's Showtime.
Mayor Mamdani is saying either you do this or we're going to raise your taxes 10%. What is it and why isn't it being done? We'll talk. Trump's in another lie, and the French Laundry in Northern California doesn't want poor people. We'll talk about it.
Now it's Showtime.
All right, it is the Carell Show. I am Carell. So very glad you are joining me on this Wednesday, February 18th. I will be here again tomorrow, fear not, although I am leaving for Phoenix again tomorrow. I'll be there Thursday through Sunday, thanks to Randy Radar, who helped with the expenses, and anyone else that wants to. It's paypal.me/reallycarell. That's paypal.me/reallycarell. So Mayor Mamdani in New York is just gangbusters. And he's basically telling Albany, I'm going to raise property taxes in New York 9.5% if you don't do something. What is that something? We're going to tell you. And it's amazing that it hasn't been done so far. Also, Stephen Colbert throws down the gauntlet with CBS. What did he do? I'm going to tell you as soon as I move this microphone a little bit. Okay. And we've got so much more, including Trump's big lie that he continues to tell, that he's told since the campaign, although it's so hard to keep track given how much he lies already. All right, so we are going to talk about all of those things. Oh, I knocked my microphone into view. I can't have that. Everything must be perfect for the Carell cast. We got to have perfect stuff here. You know what I'm saying? All right. So before we begin, though, you know, you can tell a lot about America from our media. And I don't just mean our news media. I mean our TV networks, what we watch, what is advertised. You can tell a lot about that. And when I was in the hotel room in Phoenix, they didn't have streaming at the Red Roof Inn. I'm surprised they had a roof. I'm not being ungrateful, but I'll never stay at another Red Roof Inn again if I can avoid it. I'm going back and I'm staying at the Doubletree, a civilized hotel by Hilton. But anyway, also 3 times as much per night, but oh well. So I was watching, ID Discovery, all these other shows, that sort of thing. And they had commercials. And I'd like to say, that they were illuminating, but they were much more than that. Because by night 2, I sat there going, oh my God. Like, oh my God. So most of you consume media through streaming. Some of you still watch broadcast TV, which is what the FCC oversees, by the way. I think Stephen Colbert was very poignant when he said the head of the FCC is actually telling people like him and Kimmel to go to streaming. That way you can have whatever guest you want. Because this, quote, fairness doctrine that he has not passed for talk shows, by the way. He just said, the head of the FCC said he was considering it. And yet CBS is acting like it's law. It only pertains to broadcast, radio and television. So I watched broadcast, radio and television. And the ads were astounding to me. Every ad on broadcast TV is for one of 3 things. First, drugs for people over 50. Including drugs for things I ain't never even heard of. Like, did you know if you're taking mental health drugs, whatever those are classified as, that you might get involuntary tics in your body? Where you like drop stuff or make weird faces or just almost like Tourette's, basically. It's called telekinesia something, TDK. Who knew? And who knew there were so many people with this side effect of mental health drugs that you needed a new drug? So this drug's sole purpose is to counteract the effects of another drug. But there it was being advertised, people dropping shit and her face going all cattywampus and, just what a commercial. And of course, Sky Rizzy and Wegovy, all these drugs for people over 50, for old people. So that tells you right there that advertisers of broadcast TV assume that a lot of their viewers are over 50. Second, money ads, cash advances on your paycheck, Chime, and other banking institutions that'll give you cash advances on your paycheck because people be broke. There was one ad where she said, oh good, now I don't have to put back any groceries this week.
If you're not visiting reallycorrell.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallycorrell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Corel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Corel is the one that you need to know.
So ads on broadcast television can tell us a lot about who's watching, because an advertiser is not going to spend money somewhere. They're not going to fish in a pond where there's no fish. So the first are for drugs. So many drug commercials for people over 50, basically. Then there is these ads for banking institutions that will advance you money. Oh, with Chime, I get my paycheck when I want. I get $500 up to 3 days in advance. And of course, this is for poor people, people who cannot make it check to check. So they're not just living check to check. They can't even make it to the next check. And again, there has to be a lot of these people if they're showing the ads. And then the third thing that I noticed is there's a lot of ads for tax and debt forgiveness. Are you in huge credit card debt? Do you owe the IRS a shit ton of money? So what does that tell you about America, where the major ads on streaming services now, I'm not streaming, but on broadcast television, are not for new cars, alcohol, jewelry, K-jewelers. No, none of that. It's all drugs, banks that will give you why is there commercials popping up in my show? I really apologize, you guys. There should not be commercials popping up in my show. I don't know why there are. I watch on YouTube, and for some reason, there are commercials popping up in my show. I did not give YouTube approval to do that. So I don't know why it's doing it, and it's really pissing me off. But anyway, just hit skip. Just hit skip. I'm sorry. I'll try to correct that for tomorrow. But anyway, so here we have a lot being told about America and Americans. A lot. And what it's telling us is Americans are broke. Americans are, how do I say this? Needing to be drugged, and Americans need tax and debt relief. Tax and debt relief. Because they simply do not have the money. They don't have the money that they need. They don't have the money to make it to the next check. So they have, borrow from themselves, I guess. And that's, kind of bizarre. To borrow money from yourself. I mean, think about this. If you've got to borrow from yourself, then when you get your check, you're already in debt. When you get your check, you're almost in debt. So what do? I'm having Instacart problems here. So what do? You borrow money from yourself. And I'm sure there's a fee. I'm sure it's not free. Ain't nothing free, honey. And so here we have America buying drugs, being broke. That's sad. The commercials made me sad. Just sad. And no one's addressing it. No one's, what are we doing instead of addressing this? Protecting billionaires and trillionaires. The guest that Stephen Colbert was going to have on, this Texas person that's running for Congress, he has a thing where he says we should tax trillionaires out of existence, that they just shouldn't exist. And Mamdani in New York is proposing raising taxes on regular people. Why? Because he has a plan. That plan needs to be funded. Albany, the capital, the governor, refuses to raise the taxes on the rich. Oh, we're afraid they'll leave. Oh, we're afraid of this. Why in this country are we so fucking afraid to take the money from those who have it and give it to those who need it? After World War II, the tax rate on $1 million or more was 90% because America needed money. And do you think there were no rich people in the 1950s or the 60s? The greatest generational wealth was from the 1950s or the 1960s. The greatest generational wealth. Okay? The greatest. So this notion that if you tax them, A, that they're not going to find a way around it. They will. But B, that in some way they're going to go broke. What is this obsession we have with protecting the fucking rich? And now we are letting this oligarchy, we're letting them commit any crime they want to commit. You want to fuck a 15-year-old? No problem. You want to avoid taxes? Not a problem. You want to commit a crime and then pay to get out of it? No problem. You don't want to be hunted down by ICE in the streets like a dog? No problem. Give us $1 million, you get a golden ticket. What the fuck is wrong with us? Just watch network TV during the day or night in your area. Watch A&E. Watch Bravo. Watch any of these without streaming them. Watch them over the cable. And look at the ads. Most Americans are barely making it to the next check. Many Americans need to borrow before they get to the next check. Meanwhile, the wealth in this country for the wealthy has increased exponentially over the last 5 years. We even tie our economy to the Dow. You heard Pam Bondi melting down. Oh, the Dow is above 50,000. Only 10% of America participates in the stock market. That's it. 90% of us ain't got shit in the stock market. The fuck do we care about the stock market? The rich get it. Oh, well, that's companies, and the more money they make, the more jobs they create. That's fucking bullshit right there. This notion that if you give the wealthy more money, they're in some way going to share it with those that aren't by employing them, by giving them a good life, good benefits, whatever. That is just fucking ridiculous. It's just not true. So Mamdani is saying, look, either you tax the fucking rich who can afford it, or I am going to have to tax the people who really can't afford it. Because we're going to do this. Sorry, I'm texting about my sister. We're going to do this. And why should the middle income and lower income pay when the money is sitting right there with people who won't fucking miss it? Why is the governor of New York so quick to protect the rich. Why is Congress? Because they're fucking rich. That's why. When you have the rich running everything, they're not going to let, you take their money. They don't care if you're broke. How many rich people have to borrow $500 from themselves before their next paycheck arrives? None. How many rich people have to call debt relief, IRS tax relief? None. Why? Because they're rich. This notion that Elon Musk should become a trillionaire, which he's going to. We need to tax trillionaires and billionaires out of existence. They will still have more fucking money than God. We act like if someone has $100 million, they're broke. Oh, well, they've only got $100 million. Truly. That's how we act. We act like someone really needs 500 million or a billion or 5 billion or 10 billion. More money than they and their heirs could ever spend in their entire lifetime. We act like the hoarding of money by these people is okay. Elon Musk makes more money than every teacher in the United States combined in 1 year. Elon Musk. Elon Musk makes more money in 1 year than every single teacher in the United States. Figure that out. Every single teacher, you combine all of their salaries, and in 1 year, Elon Musk makes more money than them. You mean to tell me that he is fucking worth it? That somehow Elon Musk deserves to make more money than every teacher in the United States? No, he does not. And meanwhile, those teachers have to buy school supplies for their kids. I mean, this is ridiculous. In New York, if what is it, Hochul? If she doesn't allow the rich to be taxed and makes Mamdani raise property taxes on average middle to low income people, she should be voted out. And I don't care that she's a Democrat. Democrats protect the rich just as bad. I don't care. Democrats have always protected the wealthy. Why? They talk a good talk. Oh, we want to do this and we want to do that, but we don't have the money. Why don't you have the money? Because you're protecting the fucking rich. Oh, God, it is so absolutely crazy. And yet here we sit. Here we sit. Here we sit. It's just so ridiculous. We are so on a wrong tangent right now. We are going the wrong direction. And all because there are people who just refuse to give the rich what they deserve. There are people who just refuse to take some of the rich's money because, again, we act like, what, they're going to leave? And I love when the rich him and ha, blah, 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 blah. Oh, if you don't, if you do this to us, we're going to take our money elsewhere. Then fucking take it. Take it to the UK. Well, they'll take 70% of your money. Go right the fuck ahead. Get out of our country, rich people. Get out. Well, Carell, if all the rich people leave, we'll be fine. Because they won't. They threaten. They talk a good talk. They ain't going nowhere. Or how do I know? They'd already fucking be there. They're rich. If there was a better place to be rich than the United States, they'd go. This notion that we must protect the upper class. It's so feudalism. It's so pre-French Revolution. Protect the monarchy at all cost. Protect the wealthy at all cost. Jesus Christ. So here we are, a nation so poor we can't even pay our fucking bills. We are $41 trillion with a T in debt. The whole country. How much is that per person? Let's see. What is 34 trillion divide? No, wait, that's a low figure. I think I heard 41 trillion. What is 41 trillion divided by 340 million?
It's approximately 120,588.
Baby, every fucking American, every one of us is $120,000 in debt. That's what Donald Trump has done. Donald Trump has put each and every one of you, your kids, babies, your grandparents, every single American is $120,000 in debt. Every one of them. All of them. That's how much the national debt is. The national debt is our debt. And it doesn't belong. You think it belongs to somebody? It belongs to the government. We are the government. We the people. So we the people are each $120,000 in debt. Every one of us. Because of the $41 trillion national debt. Now, we could pay a good portion of that off by taxing the wealthy. But we won't. We won't do it. Why? Because we all think we're going to be rich one day. We all think, well, I might be rich, and no. You stand a better chance of being struck by lightning than becoming a millionaire. But you don't walk around in lightning-proof clothes. We are $41 trillion in debt to the tune of $120,000 per every American. And yet we're afraid to tax the rich. And part of the way we got in that debt is because the rich are not paying their fair share. Corporations are not paying their fair share. There are some corporations that don't pay a fucking dollar in tax. None in federal tax. But people on Social Security gotta pay federal tax. They're taxing money that has already been taxed when you earned it the first time. But billionaires? Rich corporations? Nope. Your grandmother probably pays more taxes than ExxonMobil. So Mamdani is like, look, I'm getting this budget. I'm getting this through. So either you be responsible for a 10% tax increase in New York, Madam Governor, or you tax the rich. It is so bizarre. You know, it's amazing to me. Because here's the deal. Poor is just out of fashion now. For instance, there's a restaurant that made news because Gavin Newsom likes to go there. It's called the French Laundry. Okay? And the French Laundry is in Northern California. Okay? It's a really great restaurant in Napa Valley. It's in Yountville. Yountville. And in Yountville, they're trying to build some affordable housing. Okay? Because it's a very expensive place to live. So they're trying to build some affordable housing. Who's trying to stop it? Chef Thomas Keller of the French Laundry. Why? They say parking and density concerns. Oh, we're not against affordable housing, and we're not against the poor. It's the parking. It's the clutter. It's the amount of people in the space that we're concerned about. Fuck you. You rich motherfuckers. God, these commercials popping up on YouTube are fucking killing me. They're killing me. I'm sorry if they're killing you too. So, yeah, we have this rich restaurant that caters to the rich. in Northern California saying, we don't want affordable housing around us because that'll bring people that can't afford our restaurant. And that'll make the people that come to our restaurant have to worry about things like parking. This is the attitude in America now. The haves want nothing to do with the have-nots. They don't want to live around them. They don't want to park around them. They don't want to eat around them. They just don't want them around. And guess who that is, honey? You and me. You and me. You're not wanted in Yountville. Don't go. You're not wanted. They simply want rich people. That's it. If you can't afford to live there, we don't want you here. Screw affordable housing. Not in our community. Because to them, $1 million properties are affordable. Well, there's some lovely places here for $1 million. Who can't afford that? All because this guy wants to sell $500 a pop dinners. You know? That's yeah. And no, Gavin Newsom is not a platinum spoon entitled SOB. How dare you? You don't know him. I know him. You don't know him. You don't know what's in his heart. You don't know the kind of man he is. You don't know him. Sit here and... That man is the only one standing up to Donald Trump. That man is the only one on the world stage making sense. And you want to bitch because he's not the one opposing for affordable housing. He's the one helping push it through. It's the owner of the restaurant that is opposing the affordable housing, not Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom has done more to help the middle class and the lower class in California by taxing the rich than any other governor. So please spare me your Gavin Newsom and everything else. You don't know him. You don't know what's in his heart. You've never had a conversation with him. You can't pick up your phone and text him. I can. So I will tell you, you're wrong. That man is one of our only hopes that we have. He's a Democrat that's not afraid to fight. He's a Democrat that's not afraid to say shit. And he's a Democrat that's not afraid to piss off other Democrats. I wish we had 100 more like him. Did he grow up wealthy? Yeah, he did. His parents owned a large group of stores. Does that mean he grew up entitled? No. That man has been an advocate for gay rights when it wasn't popular, when even I condemned him. That man has been an advocate for very unpopular policies. That man's been an advocate for giving health care to undocumented workers. That man has done more to help the lower and middle classes than any governor of California of late. So he goes eats a French Laundry. Big deal. He is not the one saying don't build affordable housing around French Laundry. The owner of French Laundry is. The chef. Chef Thomas Keller. He's the problem. But protecting... And Gavin has no problem paying taxes either, by the way. His tax returns are public. You can go look at his tax returns. Unlike Donald Trump, unlike many senators and congresspeople, all of them millionaires. So we have this ridiculous state in the United States where we are $42 trillion in debt, $120,000 per person, and yet we keep protecting the rich. I will never figure that one out. And we watch them and idolize them on television. We act like they're so special. They ain't. We act like it. It's kind of sickening.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carellcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carellcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carellcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carellcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
All right. To Granny, who says, Gavin Newsom is part owner of the French Laundry. Stop giving out fake information in my chat room, please. Gavin Newsom is not part owner of the French Laundry. He does not own it. He does not own stock in it. The owner of the French Laundry is the chef, Chef Thomas Keller. Period. You know? Now, I don't know where you got the ridiculous notion that he owns part of the French Laundry, but he does not. You see how misinformation just spreads? He does not own part of that restaurant. Nor would he fight affordable housing. You know, why is it Democrats love to eat their own? You know, why? Why didn't, you know, why do we eat our own? You find me a perfect Democrat. Go ahead. Find me a perfect Democrat that you agree with everything they've done, everything they own, every decision they've made. Go ahead. I'll wait. Find me a perfect fucking Democrat. Go ahead. Come on. Give the names in the chat room. You know, go ahead. Find me a perfect Democrat that's just going to please and check off all of your boxes. This is why we fucking lose. This is why Democrats cannot win. You hold your Democrats, to a higher standard than you hold yourself. You won't let Democratic candidates do things that you yourself do. Find me a perfect Democrat. Go ahead. Find me the Dolly Parton of Democrats. Go ahead. Find me a Democrat that has no marks against them at all, has never said an untoward thing, does not own stock in something untoward, has always been a good person. Find me one, please. I'm waiting. Let's nominate that person. And do they have like 50 friends? Find me. You know, it's like Barbara Streisand tells this joke. She said, you know, she went into a deli. A Jewish woman walks into, of course, because Barbara's telling the joke, so of course a Jewish woman. But a Jewish woman walks into a deli, and she walks up to the butcher, and she says, are those chickens fresh? And the butcher says, yes, they're very fresh. And she says, well, are they good chickens? The butcher says, well, yeah, they're great chickens. She goes, well, let me see. So he hands her a chicken. So she looks under every leg in the chicken. She looks in the creases. She looks inside the cavity of the chicken. She looks under the skin of the chicken. She looks everywhere, and then she goes, no, this chicken isn't perfect. I don't want this chicken. It doesn't meet my standards. And the butcher looks back at her and says, honey, if I examined you like that, would you meet your standards too? We are never going to find the perfect Democrat. It's not going to happen. Oh, Kamala Harris supported this once. Oh, Kamala Harris once farted in an elevator. Suddenly, I don't like her laugh. Suddenly, she loses. Why? Because Democrats actually sat home and didn't vote for her. Oh, I don't like that she's this. I don't like that. This is why they lose. People voted for Trump knowing he was a fucking felon. They voted for him knowing he liked to grab women by the pussycat. They voted for this man knowing he was a sexual predator, lying, tax-evading felon billionaire. And they vote for him again, even though he is all over the Epstein files. They don't care. He talks the talk. He has an agenda they like. We don't care if he's the fucking devil. Put him in. Democrats? Oh, well, they once got a parking ticket for parking in the handicapped spot. And I'm very against people parking in handicapped spots, so I'm not going to vote for them. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? There is this purity test. You're right, Phineas. You're right. Harris did not lose. You're absolutely right. I stand corrected. You're right. She won. She won the popular vote. She won. And we know that Elon Musk messed with the voting machine. We know. She won. I'm sorry, Phineas.
If you're
right.
not visiting reallycorrell.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallycorrell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Carell is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Carell is the one that you need to know.
So New York is trying to protect taxing their rich. So Mamdani is saying, hey, do it or I'm going to tax everybody's. I'm going to raise everybody's property tax by 10%. You know, money's got to come from somewhere. Meanwhile, as Albany protects their wealthy, we've got the owner of the French Laundry, Thomas Keller, protecting Yountville from the invasion of people who can afford affordable housing. Saying, oh, there'll be too much traffic. There'll be too much density. Those are ways of saying we just don't want poor people around. Trust me, I know. I've been poor. I'm still, I guess, poor. And I know when I'm being discriminated against. What about the other news of the day? In so much as, well, here in Vegas, there's snow everywhere, by the way. All of our mountains have snow, right down to the right to here. I could literally drive 5 miles and be in the snow. But over at Lake Tahoe, which is up by Reno, Nevada, 9 skiers are missing. And I feel badly for them and I want them found. But guess what? They went out into the back country with an avalanche warning. Okay? They did. Now they should be found, but they went out with an avalanche warning. Meanwhile, the Ukraine talks have once again failed. And you've just got to wonder now, why are they keeping this war going? You know, why? Why are they keeping this going? Because here's the deal. There's a really way to... It's so easy to end the Ukrainian war. Trump said he'd do it on day one. He lied. There's a great way to do it. Tell Vladimir Putin he is not getting back any territory that they hard-fought won. And that's that. Get out of Ukraine, stop bombing Ukraine, and you're not getting anything back. Otherwise, we, the rest of the world, are going to have a bigger problem with you than you want. But he won't do it because no one's forcing him to. Everyone is letting Vladimir Putin run amok just like they're letting Donald Trump run amok. Oh, they want to bitch and moan about him. They want to complain about Vladimir Putin. They want to complain about Donald Trump, but they don't want to fucking do anything about it. The world could end the Ukrainian war tomorrow. Completely isolate Russia. Shut them off. Take all of their money. All of the money that Russia has in banks, seize it. Immediately. All of it. Every penny. Take all of Russia's money. Cut off all supplies to Russia. Food, water, oil, everything. Isolate them until they cry uncle. And give them the terms. Get out of Ukraine. They keep the Donbass, period. And we're going to give them a ground force to make sure you don't come back. That's that. There it is. Ended. Right then and there. I could end the war in a day. I could. Why can't Trump? Because he doesn't want to. Why can't Europe? They don't want to. They don't want to. That's got to be the only reason. Meanwhile, Ukrainians die. Ukrainian dogs and cats die. Ukrainian children die. Why? Because no one will tell Putin to stop and sit the fuck down. Nobody. Nobody will threaten Putin. and say, you see what we did in Venezuela, how we took over there? We're going to do the same to you. If you don't stop this, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night with a hood over your head, being taken to a secure location where you will be removed from power. Period. Going to happen. You won't have time to reach for the nuclear codes. You won't have time to launch anything. Period. We're not going to harm one Russian human. We're just going to harm you. Do it, or you'll find a red dot in the middle of your forehead from a sniper. It's that simple. Oh, but then he'll what? He's going to launch? Vladimir's going to launch and destroy his country, because we will destroy his country. No, he's not going to. But will Trump end it? No. Why? Because he's Putin's butt boy. So of course he's going to do what Putin wants. He has done what Putin has wanted through his first term and now through his second. He's Putin's lackey. And everybody knows it. Our own secret intelligence agency said he is most likely a Russian asset. That's not me making that up. That was the United States intelligence agencies saying he is most likely a Russian asset. Is he? Don't know. But smarter people than me said yes. So that's why he hasn't ended Ukraine. Because Putin hasn't told him he wants it to end it. You know? So there we have it. We have an ineffective president. We have a nation that keeps protecting its rich while we're all $120,000 in debt. Every one of us. You owe 120 grand. And how are we financing that debt? China. Other countries buying our debt, loaning us money. Don't you think they want something in return for that? Well, of course they do. And they get it. So it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And everyone's like, well, Mamdani won't raise taxes because then he won't be popular. If he has no choice, he will. And so he's trying to put Hochul over the barrel and say, look, girl, you go through with this wealth tax or I'm going to tax residents of New York and they ain't going to like you for that. We'll see how that plays out. You know? We'll see how that plays out. Meanwhile, in the rest of the world, difficult Russian-Ukraine peace talks end without a breakthrough. They're not difficult. It's like the Epstein files. They act like it's so hard to release documents that are unredacted. But they're so busy protecting Donald Trump and other rich people. The Epstein files mimic America. They truly do. The only people being protected in the Epstein files are the rich. You know? That's the only people. The rich. They're not protecting the victims. They're protecting the wealthy. The guys that had sex with the victims. That is just a microcosm for America. Rich people get away with whatever they want and get the world however they want it. The victims, not so much. The WHO and other organizations have said that, and the UN has said that what's in the Epstein files probably amounts to crimes against humanity. They're interested in prosecuting people. But what people? The names are all redacted. Donald Trump's name is in there more than Christ in the Bible. His name is in the Epstein files so far over 500,000 times. 500,000 mentions. 500,000. But he didn't know what was going on. His friends didn't know what was going on. It was going on at Mar-a-Lago where Epstein introduced him to Melania. But he didn't know? Of course he knew. But we must protect him. We must protect the rich men that are Alan Dershowitz, a total perv. Must protect Alan Dershowitz. Why? I don't know. But I guess because he's rich. I guess we must protect the rich. Which is kind of sad. You know? Kind of sad indeed. And they're breaking the law and not releasing the other 3 million pages. I mean, there was a law passed that said you have until January X to release all of the files. And you must provide those files to a committee in the Senate unredacted. Have they? No. Are they going to? No. Will they suffer any repercussion? No. Will the rich pervs, including Donald Trump, that screwed people 14, 15, 16 years old, will they suffer any repercussions other than having to find a new dealer? I wonder who they've gone to now. We act like these guys are no longer fucking these young kids. We act like suddenly, because Epstein got caught, that's it. There's no more sex trafficking, no more underage girls being provided to these rich men. Bullshit. None of it has stopped. Alan Dershowitz, Donald Trump, they're all still getting their underage girls. They're just getting them from a different dealer. Why aren't we investigating that? You think these men who partied with Epstein and went to his island and had sex with all these girls, you think they've suddenly stopped? Rich people don't stop doing what they like to do. They find another way to do it. No one's talking about that. Everyone's talking like it ended with Epstein. Like, oh, there must be no one else trafficking young women now because Epstein's gone. Bullshit. Of course there is. There is a new Jeffrey Epstein. If you don't think there is, you're naive. If your drug dealer gets busted, you find a new one because there's always another drug dealer. Same thing here. If the provider of young women to you gets busted, you have another source. Maybe that source isn't in this country. Maybe it's not someone that lives in the United States, but trust me, they have another source. Look, Andrew Tate was trafficking in women. I mean, and he's not in jail, is he? So this notion that it stopped with Epstein is ridiculous. And now whoever's doing it is just emboldened that even if they get caught, nothing will happen to them. I mean, look, this has probably caused more guys to do it, not less. Now that they see they'll be protected. Anyone ever thought of that? Anyone ever thought that the guys that are in the Epstein files are still doing it and will continue to do it until we arrest them? Donald Trump is going to keep having underage girls, allegedly, until someone stops him. Now, Melania hasn't stopped him, and Epstein going to jail has probably not stopped him. And we're certainly not stopping him. The Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, is probably the one giving him the girls. So, why? They're rich. And just like I started the show, the rich can do what they want because they're not going to be taxed. We're not going to take their money. We're not going to enforce the law. None of it. None of it. And that's really sad. That's probably the saddest thing that I've heard. Outside of watching those commercials on television the other night, just commercial after commercial for, do you need money? Do you need money before your next check? Let Chime advance you $500. Payday loans. Come to Payday Loans, where you can get up to $3,000 instantly in your bank account. Yeah, but you got to pay back $5,000. They never tell you that. IRS got you down? Come to us. We'll get you a 10 or 20% settlement. Can't pay your bills? File bankruptcy with me. This is the sign of a failing nation. But if you mention this to Republicans, well, the Dow is above 50,000%. The Dow's up 50,000. The Dow. Who cares? It's really nice to know that millionaires are still making money. That's really sweet. But the 90% of us that aren't involved in the stock market? Well, what about us? You know? I leave tomorrow for Phoenix again. Hotels are at $300 a night. Rental cars are $60, $80, $100 a day. We've got all kinds of signs. Grocery stores. I'm having Instacart, you know, so I can go pick up the groceries. Kiwis, $7 a pound. Strawberries, $5 a pound. $5 strawberries for 1 pound. Oh, but the Dow. Dow's up.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
Someone in the chat room that said, weren't those women getting paid? Who cares? Well, I hope you have a daughter that's 14 and she ends up getting fucked and paid for it, and then you can see how you care. Because their parents care. And the victims obviously care as they stand on Capitol Hill crying over it. Oh God, people that act like, blaming the victims. These women were victims. It's called sex trafficking. They were sex trafficked. And I care. So take your fucking who cares someplace else. I care. I care if a 16-year-old girl is fucked by a 40-year-old rich guy. I care. I don't care if she's getting paid. I don't care if she's got a yacht. Because when you're 16 fucking years old, you don't know what you should and should not be doing. Age of consent is 18. You can't buy a drink till you're 21. But you act like at 15 you can consent to sex with a 50-year-old? What the fuck is wrong with you? You got 12 brain cells left living? Jesus Christ. These aren't women. A 16-year-old girl is not a woman. A 17-year-old girl is not a woman. They're embryos with legs, trying to figure it out. Jesus. Oh. Feel like I'm on Bewitched. I got a sick headache. Merv, I've got a sick headache. All right. Well, have y'all seen Wuthering Heights? A lot of violins and sex. That's really what it is. I got a screener. I love Jacob Elordi. I would love to love Jacob Elordi. I love Emerald Fennell, the director. It is certainly not Bronte's Wuthering Heights, I'll tell you that. But they basically have sex in every room in the building. That's it, and we get to see it. Room to room to room to room to room to room. Now, in Wuthering Heights, by the way, they didn't have sex in the book. It was never consummated. It was deep, unrequited love. But in the movie, honey, they consummated on every piece of furniture they can. So it's kind of like Heated Rivalry, but for straight people. It's really what it is. Speaking of Heated Rivalry, did you see the video that RFK Jr. put out with Kid Rock and the two of them working out together? Did you see that video? Maybe I can show it to you. Did you see the video? Oh my God. I mean, it was, the Heated Rivalry boys have nothing up on RFK Jr. and what's his name? Kid Rock. Did you guys see it? Let me try to show it to you here. Let's see. I might be able to really quickly. I mean, it's something. Allegedly, they're drinking milk in the video, by the way. I don't buy it, but allegedly. Let's see.
The pit and try to love something. This is for the questions that don't have any answers. The midnight glancers and the topless dancers. The gander freaks, cars packed with speakers. The G's with the 40s and the chicks
Thomas Keller.
Punctured all the crackheads, the critics, the cynics, and all my heroes at the methadone clinic. All you bastards at the IRS for the crooked cops and the cluttered desks, for the shots of Jack and the caps of meth, half pints of love and the fists of stress, for the hookers all drinking out in Hollywood, and for my hoods of the world misunderstood. I said it's all good and it's all in fun. They get in the pit and try to love something.
They posted that on their on the official account. RFK Jr. posted that video on the official government account for the Health and Human Services. Can you? Those two need to just get a room. Okay, I mean, I watched Heated Rivalry. We know what comes next. Drinking whole milk. It's a white substance. I'm not sure it's milk or whose milk it is. Maybe it didn't come from a cow. But did you see him and Kid Rock all shirtless and working out together in the sauna? That's gayer than I am. And I'm pretty damn gay. But that's just, And by the way, I imagine that in between takes there was some cocaine being snorted, but that's just, it's gayer than me. I don't work out with guys that way. Maybe I should. But wow. Okay, RFK. I get the point, I guess, working out and drinking milk. But that guy, his brain is addled. I mean, he's done enough drugs to sink the Bismarck, and his brain is addled. And because of posting that on a government account, it's like, we're a laughingstock. I mean, literally, the world looks at us like some poor little kid they just want to hug and go, oh, you poor little thing. I mean, really, at this point, they can't even be mad at us. They're just like, oh, you poor little thing. I mean, because we're a mess. The most inept cabinet known to mankind, a president that shits his pants and is demented and is a sexual predator and a felon, a Supreme Court out of control, and a country that protects its billionaires and millionaires while its average Americans suffer and have to get payday loans. We're a laughingstock. But hey, trans people can't get care. Drag queens can't read stories to people. And we're protecting our bathrooms. What a monumental joke we've become. We are policing our bathrooms, but not sexual predators. I wish we would treat every man named in the Epstein files like a trans person using a bathroom. I really do. If we could just get the Department of Justice to care as much about the guys in the Epstein files as they did the Democrats who exercised their First Amendment right to say that you don't have to follow illegal orders because they tried to indict them. If we could get Republicans to care as much about the victims of Epstein as they do Don Lemon, we'd be a better place. I am Carell. Be who you want to be, so don't hurt anybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, stay safe. And I'm off to Phoenix. Woohoo. Raise the flag. Just don't let it say God, guns, and Trump, please.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carell Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear.